Hello there, English speakers. I hope my voice is better now than with a Swedish video. It seems to be better when I talk a lot. The dog is doing better, but she was really not in a good mood yesterday when I took care of her. We'll talk a little bit about decentralized finance and how this will influence the world, and a little bit cure about COVID again, yet another way, and some fun stuff. But let's start with taking a big deep breath. And maybe I can get my voice in order. Robinhood did nasty things, shutting down the trade. So there were some hedge funds that have borrowed stocks and then sold them, and then a lot of people started to buy GameStop stocks, and then the hedge funds needed to buy back the stocks because they have borrowed them. That created a huge problem for them, and they lost huge amounts of money. But Robinhood came there as a savior and stopped their customer from trading. The interesting thing here is that you or anyone who isn't a big banker will be screwed by these organizations. They are not working for you, they are working to screw you in all possible ways they can. But now we have something called UNISWAP, which is a system for trading on the Ethereum blockchain. So you can basically trade everything here. There aren't tokens for every stock yet, but there will be. And they have 1 billion in daily transaction volume, so there are $1 billion. So that's a lot of trade. And they have just started. They didn't exist, I think, they started in September or something. So this will be a problem for all the governments that want to tax you for selling stocks and so on, because you can just use an app and from your computer no one can stop you. The trade is going on around the clock. There is a market maker that is a robot, so there is always liquidity. You can only get a little bit bad price, but there is always a buyer or seller because, well, it's a robot and it never sleeps. And no one can stop you trading. This will be interesting, and eventually you will not even notice that you're using a blockchain or anything like that. Good from Belgium. They open letter to the government, and it's about ivermectin and vitamin D. So good. In Eastern Europe, the ivermectin train is going on, and some other countries like Sweden, where no one knows about anything because our media is shit and crap. Some good news though, Xylitol, that you can have a nose spray, seems to stop the viruses a little bit, so that your immune system can have more time to prepare better defense. But something that everyone can buy, you don't need a prescription or anything. And this was an in vitro study, but still, yeah, it works against viruses, just like colloidal silver and hydrogen peroxide, that makes the not life of viruses a little bit more hard. Our former Prime Minister, Fredrik Reinfeldt, is hired by the Chinese Communist Party, and they are infiltrating everything everywhere. and of course the Swedish media, except one, our biggest newspaper actually, we have two that are equally big, actually writes about it. So that's good for that. Not entire media is totally useless, but watch out for the China communists. They are infiltrating exactly everything. If you want to learn more about the mRNA vaccines, I would recommend that you watch Dr.SHIVA. He knows his stuff really good when it comes to the immune system. Even if there are other good doctors, they don't know as much as him about the immune system. So listen to him and not to some lawyer that is babbling shit about stuff that don't know anything about. Listen to Dr.SHIVA if you want to know about the immune system or these vaccines. If you want to see a funny movie, More anger in the world, says someone who looks and sound exactly like a Bond villain, and then you will see all the billionaires and leaders of the world laughing at you because you are being screwed by them with their fake COVID, their fake climate. Oh, look at all this global warming that we have here. In France, it seems like Le Pen is going forward with her nationalist party. So she has 48% compared to Macron's 52%, if you get them together. Le Pen only had 33, I think, percent in the last election. Now France will go to election next year in 2022, and I don't see how Le Pen should continue in the current path. So that will be interesting, see what's happening there. In Arizona, in Maricopa, they said that they are going to cooperate and they will do a proper audit, and that was just bullshit. They refuse to do it still. So they are convinced that something will eventually happen, but these corrupt people, they are just lying all the time. They are stalling, they are distracting, and so on. I think you literally need to force them physically, otherwise they will just be the corrupt pieces of shit they are. And a little interesting video here about bumblebees in greenhouses. Apparently bumblebees are better than using honeybees if you have a greenhouse. I found that interesting. Maybe not the most useful thing in the world, unless you have a lot of greenhouses, of course. And with that, I think it's enough for today. Watch Dr.SHIVA if you're remotely interested in the vaccines. I will listen to it now and see if it's something useful. I am not a fan of taking the vaccine, so I don't care that much about it actually.